Hi everyone, welcome back to the Scrapping Scotland channel. Today we're going to be tearing down a lawnmower. Now this is something you come across very commonly when you're scrapping, and any of you that go out kind of scrapping and finding items, lawnmowers are very common to come across. Obviously there's nothing like circuit boards or anything like that within lawnmowers, but what we're looking for is obviously the copper wire, because lawnmowers have very long cables. They do have a big motor within inside it. Hopefully that's copper, and we'll check that when we get to it. And on the switch mechanism, there's usually a few small switches, and there can be little nubs of silver inside them as well. So we will tear one down and we will give you a look. So this is the model we're going to be tearing down. It's a Bosch Rotak 32R. Now as you can see from here, I've already removed the cable and the kind of upright supports for the handle, obviously that go here, yeah. So I've removed them. Now what that leaves us with in terms of what I want to scrap outside this kind of main piece is the switch mechanism, yeah. So that switch mechanism, as I say, will have smaller switches inside. We'll take that off and we'll see if we can't recover those switches and the little piece of silver that's contained within the switch itself. Taking apart these lawnmowers can be quite difficult. Normally the motor is attached to the blade on the bottom of them, and actually that can be quite difficult to get off. Getting the front cover off would be fairly easy. A couple of screws here. So after I take those screws out, I should be able to pull this whole kind of unit up and over, and that will release or reveal the motor inside. And now looking underneath, as I said, the blade mechanism there, this will be attached to the motor as well. So we need to have something that we can clamp onto so we can stop this moving and undo this little nut here. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, we'll get these two screws out. And the other one. Same one done. And hopefully we can just, there we go, lift it up fairly easy. That was actually a lot easier than I thought. Well, lots of grass inside. The remains of the power cable and the cables that attach it to the electric motor. So we can see the copper in there. Does look like copper. So we won't obviously know until we get that completely out. You can see we've got some screws that we will need to remove. There's one, another one in here. And over the other side, there's one here. And that means the last one will be down here. So there's the 4 screws. Okay, now it'd be far too easy for me just to lift this button and come out, so although that's what appears to have happened, so that's pretty good. That's excellent, that's a good start. And that'll be this piece here. It's attached to the motor underneath, so obviously we'll clamp something onto this so we can't move, and we'll get some spanners underneath, and we'll get off that nut. So first of all, I think we'll tackle getting this piece of the motor out, and to do that I always use my trusty mole grips. These are my mole grips. A really good tool actually for clamping, and certainly good for clamping around things that you just don't want to move. So we'll put that on there, and what we'll do is we'll then, in fact that's not as tight as I'd like it to be, so we will tighten it up a little bit. And we'll clamp that on. Okay, now we've got that clamped on. That's not going to move anywhere once we get a grip of that and get a nut on a screwdriver, not a screwdriver, sorry, a spanner on the other side. Actually look in here as well, looks like a metal plate. Actually is a steel plate. There's a little heavy bit of steel there. Stick that in the steel pile. What else have we got here? We've got a couple of tension screws in here as well. We have to remove them out before we can get out the motor. But first of all, let's just turn this over and reveal the nut that needs to be removed. So let's find a spanner for removing that. So I do prefer using a socket set rather than spanners. So as you can see, I've got my Work Pro socket set here. And we'll pull out a 12mm and a large socket wrench. This one's actually got a little release button on the back of it, so you're not pulling on or pushing off with any kind of degree of difficulty. Push the button, sits in really nice. And we'll get this on the back, make sure that fits. Place the camera a bit better so we can see us getting this off. Now having a look at this and how it lines up, I'm going to turn it over to the other side. You can see that actually doesn't line up with this motor at all. Actually lines up with this. So it's attached to a metal spool that we'll need to get hold of that to actually stop the blade turning. So we can take it off of here. I'll try and go onto this one, but it's a little bit shallower. Turn that way so you can see. Maybe a good idea to try and get these things out first and try and lift this off and give us a little bit more space. So we'll find the correct screw bit that we need. It's a bit big. Okay, seems like the perfect fit. And we can remove these screws. Okay, so now we've got that out. Let's see if we can just lift off this piece. still quite wedged on there. And we can see it's wedged on because this piece in here, and then this piece on this side. So I need to kind of break one of these pieces away so I can take out this plastic piece. So if we can okay, so just use my little snips, snip through the plastic bit here, snip through the plastic bit on the other side. So we'll try and see if we can now wedge this out. There we go. That's taken that out. And there we go. We've got the other part to the motor. Now, after I've done that, I can see there's another screw in here, but actually that's part of the attachment that came off. So we'll pull off the drive belt. That's the drive belt off. And then the only piece we've got left now is this piece that's attached to the bottom blade. Screw piece off that little spring. That'll go in the metal pile with all the other metals. Doesn't matter how small they are, they all get salvaged. It's actually a little metal bar as well. It goes between two of the wheels, and we will extract that as well. So let's try and get our clips on this. Just to be I'm going to invest in a GoPro. It'll make all these things a lot easier. Unfortunately, I'm just using the phone at the moment. I'm doing the best I can, so apologies, you know, if you can't actually see everything that's going on here, but hopefully give a little bit of an explanation and still understand what's going on and what we're doing. Okay, so back onto this. So the 12 didn't fit, so we put on 13mm. We'll grab the mole grips from the other side. Let's see if we can undo this. Not that way so easy. Just need to be a little bit careful here. Obviously, metal blade. Don't want to be damaging our fingers, especially when the blade's a little bent as well. So I don't know if that loosened it or if it just came off. It was the former. So there we go, a little bit of brute force. Fingers are still intact. And there we go. We'll get off the metal blade and that'll go in our metal pile. Okay. See if we can knock that through. Attached to the other side of the body apart. We've still got this piece to try and get out. It's got a nice big steel piece in the middle. I'm hoping we can knock it out from the other side. So get the hammer. See if we can bang this out. And there we go. Without any real fuss, we were able to take that piece out. There's still a seal in there, so let's see if we can still get that piece out, because there's still a metal seal in there. And there we go. There's the seal. That's good, got that bit out as well. Like I say, the other piece would be the steel pins that are, you know, in the wheels and go obviously all the way across the back right through. So we'll try and get them off as well. So as we say, we do take absolutely everything. We're looking for no metal waste whatsoever. Metal can be recycled continuously, so we want to keep that from the landfill. We want to keep recycling it. The more you recycle, obviously the less new material is being produced, and hopefully that means the less energy required to produce it. Okay, so that's us got one of the springs off this side. Spring number 2 off. Okay. Now we need to figure out how we get the thing itself off. Let's try it with a set of pliers first of all. See if we can take this off. There you go, so it really was quite easy. Just a little end cap. Yep. We should now be able to take the top wheel off, which we have. That one in, take out that piece. Get the end cap off this one. Take off that wheel. And there you go, that's a little steel rod. Okay, so that's the front one. Same for the back. We'll take the end cap off. You know, it's like a little aluminium end cap, so we'll keep that aside as well. First wheel off. These things are attached. You can see immediately. Have to get the spring out though. And that tension. That's the first spring undone. End cap on this one. Take the wheel off. And I'm hoping this will just slide out. Actually, it's still attached with the spring, so still got some tension on it. So let's try and get that off. There's a screwdriver in there. Force this little piece out. There we go. There's that spring off it. And now we should be able to slide out the pin. There we go. Metal pin number 2. That now allows us to release the springs that were keeping that in there, causing us so much hassle. There goes the 2 springs. And let's see if these are connected via screws or if they're just placed into little plastic slots. So the answer was they were placed into plastic slots. Again, that was nice and easy to take that out. Now, once again, in the middle of this piece, looks like we'll have another metal pin. So we'll get the end cap off again. Just slot right out. There we go, so there's our plastic waste. And our metal pin. So there we go, 3 quite heavy metal pins, all with aluminium end caps. And so from the bottom of it we've got the 3 pins, we've got steel blade, and we've got the metal plate. Quite a heavy metal plate, this one as well, and that's really just for weight to hold the front of the lawnmower down. So that's a good bit of steel there. We've obviously got 2 springs. We've got the seal for this piece. As you can see, the seal on the other side as well. So we'll knock that piece out. And there was another bit that came flying out, but I'm not quite sure where that flew to. But we'll find that, we'll locate that. And that really is all the metal that's on the face of it. This back piece is spring loaded, so there will be a spring there, as you can see. So we can break it off. What I tend to do with these little things is use my little wire snips to snip off any little bits of plastic. It makes it so much easier than trying to force, spring loaded stuff out. There we go, this came out really easily. Okay, that's a mess with the grass around. So it looks like that will be on the other side. Here's part of the spring. We'll try and do is wedge the spring along, try and force it off the edge of this. Like that. Or not. There we go, let's pull that one out. And there's a spring. Okay, that's the back piece. And there we go, there's a lawnmower carcass, completely void of metal. Okay, the wheels away. So what does that leave us? It leaves us the motor. So we'll extract this out. Okay, lots of grass everywhere, not ideal. Use a little dustpan brush, clean it up. You can see what we've got. We'll give our workspace a little clean, and it's just full of grass. There we go. Now hopefully we can see what we're doing. So couple of wires here just to take out. That's fine, that should be copper wire in there as well. Should be able to extract this top piece. Looks like it's the copper wires coiled around it, so we may have to undo that. There we go. Is that copper? No, it's actually a little steel spring. Okay, second one. A little steel spring. Tiny little plug. Okay, that's that one out. So one on the other side. That one out as well. And that allows us to lift off the top piece. Now within this top piece, I would think we should have some brushes. So you do have some carbon brushes, but they don't have any casing. Usually the casing for these is either copper or brass, and sometimes just worthless steel. Well, not worthless, but yeah, not in the same category as brass or copper. So leaves us with a nice little motor. Now, what's the best way to get the copper out of this motor? Really, it's just to cut it on these sides and then wedge it back out. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So cut back the plastic piece first of all, then we'll cut our way through the copper. I'm actually quite sure this stuff is copper and not copper coated aluminium, which you do get, you know, does happen. You do get them when you think you've got a nice little stash of copper and turns out that it's aluminium. Obviously easy to tell the difference just in terms of the weight. You know, once you get it out and you can feel it in your hands, then you can tell very quickly if it's copper or if it's aluminium. Also, when you make the cuts, you can see very clearly on, you know, these pieces here. You can see nice and clearly that's copper coloured, not bright silver, which it would be if it was aluminium. So this is definitely a copper motor, a copper wire. Try and slip through piece by piece. The problem with me using my wire cutters for other things is it does blunt them. It's probably the tool I keep replacing most, but it's such a handy tool. Okay, so I've made those cuts at the bottom. You can see. And we will start to free these up. And wedge out the copper. So once you're out a little bit, hopefully I can just grab it and pull it out. There we go. Nice and easy. Nice big clump of copper. And we'll do the same on this side. Pull that out. And there we go. Another nice little clump of copper. We'll take off the plastic piece. Just getting in the way. There we go. Okay, we'll just give that a little twist. Keeps it nice and together. There we go. And the other side. Break the plastic off. There you go. And stick a little twist in it again to keep it all together. And there we go. There is our copper. So not masses, not loads, but you know, you do dozens of these motors, then that adds up very quickly. So always worth scrapping them. You do get a nice bit of copper out. You get a lot of steel out of it. As you can see, that's a nice big heavy bit of steel as well. You don't actually have to take all these little pieces off when you're going to the scrappies, but I don't know, it's maybe just something about myself. I like to make sure everything's kind of clean steel from selling it. You know, I don't really want it contaminated with other things, even if it's just a bit of cardboard like that. I would rather, you know, sell it as nice clean stuff, and hopefully that means you get a better reputation with the scrapyard as well. So there we go, another nice big bit of steel. The only thing left is really this piece. Now actually trying to separate this piece from this piece can be extremely difficult. You would think possibly just stick a pin this side and bang through and it would fall out. It's never that easy, unfortunately. So it can be, you know, very time consuming and difficult to get that off. Sometimes have to cut kind of through this stuff as well to get it. So I'll not do that in this video, but hopefully that's something you found useful. As you can see, in terms of yield, you're going to get more steel than anything else. But if you've got, you know, one of your big boxes you just keep your steel in, that all adds up. So there's plenty of items to add to it there. A nice bit of copper. There's copper in here as well, and you can, you know, cut this piece off the end and extract this copper from it as well. The end piece here is all copper as well, and I think that's a bit of ferrite in the inside, so you can just break off these little copper pieces and add them to your copper pile as well. I tend to just leave these together and just sell them to the scrapyard as is, but yeah, each to their own, so whatever suits you, whatever works best for you. Okay, so as always, thanks for watching Scrapping Scotland, and we'll see you in the next teardown.